Uh, I like to play in a style that some may call an orchestral kind of style, where I like to have as much of the chord under my hand as possible at any given moment, and so that I can accomplish having a melody, chords, rhythms, and bass lines all at the same time, simultaneously. Now I've installed an extra pickup hidden in the guitar that reads just the bottom two bass strings and runs that through an extra preamp box that's needed for this particular pickup, and then into the EBS octabass pedal, just to add an extra output that then drops a signal by 1 octave, so I get a signal with these bottom two strings in the actual bass range. You can still play in my style without any of that, and it would sound marvelous, absolutely marvelous. That's just something, and in fact, if you do that, what I call bass expansion, I always recommend don't have the bass too loud, just to where you just feel it, add a little bit of bass in, because really you want guitar coming out. But so if you play in this style, and then I rely on having the bottom two strings as the predominantly as where I'm going to do bass lines, then I'll keep a simple bar chord under my hand, no matter pretty much whatever song I'm playing. So we'll start with these simple bar chords based on the regular folk chords, so based on E or A or C. But instead of with these three fingers, we do it with these three fingers, move it up, add your first finger as the capo, voila, the simple bar chords. But I compromise the bar chords by releasing 1 or 2 fingers sometimes while sustaining as many of the other strings as possible. So if I can cover 2 strings with 1 finger, I'll do that. Instead of both these fingers, I'll cover it with this big fat finger here to release this little finger, so I can get a little bass line while I still sustain the other chords in the song. So it's no big secret. I mean, I'm sure most of you are aware of that kind of approach anyway. In this one based on A, I like to do it with this finger if you can do that. Some people can't do that, and that's fine. You just figure whatever you can do. But for this C chord or D chord, if I have a free finger floating here, I'll just reach over and get a couple of different bass notes that are within the scale of the chord I'm in, so they work, you know. And you don't need a lot of extra notes, really, to get a good bass line. Sometimes just 1 or 2 are all you need to get the effect of a walking bass, you know. And then finally, this chord based on C, if you do it with these 3 fingers and move it up, you have D, E flat, F, whatever chord. And again, I'll sustain at least the first 3 notes, the 3 strings, I mean, so I have a triad being sustained while I release these couple of fingers to superimpose those extra bass notes over the chord, you see. So, and then finally, based on this shape here, based on E for G or A, I like to use a chord shape where I play like this, the first 4 strings on a major 7th chord, but do the first string, the major 7th note, with this part of the bar finger, the first finger, so that you can bring the tip of the finger up and up 1 fret, and then you have a good tonic bass note there. Or there's the 3rd, or borrow the little finger for the 5th, and all the notes in between. So these are ways you can manipulate chords just any way you configure to do it that works for you, that give you at least a couple of notes of the chord, plus where you need to reach for bass lines. So when you think of it that way, you realize that in Doggly Boo, the first verse of the song, I'm really basing it upon this simple bar chord, G, but I'll refinger it so that I've got a couple of fingers free here to manipulate bass. And really, within the song, sometimes I'm only hitting 2 notes at once. Sometimes that's all you need is the melody and the bass line. And you can hit a chord later, you know, 1 or 2 beats later, to suggest the whole chord. So you have a third in the chord and something that sounds. So right there, the chords would simply be G, and then G over B, and then C, and then C sharp diminished seventh, which, by the way, is like a C seventh, but you simply put this finger down on the C sharp, and you move it up every 3 frets, and you have the same chord. That's the beauty of diminished chords. Demented chords, that's another story. We won't get into that today.